Are you there?
I am
All right,
coming loud and
sir.
clear.
All right, we're ready. I'm going to put this on. We are live streaming, sir, and we are here for, I guess, the first episode of, I don't know, we'll call it a working title, but I like Fantasy Suckers.
Fantasy suckers indeed, because I would not take any advice from myself. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you told me about Brandon Cooks. I should have cut him. And I guess that's the type of banter you'll get as we go along. Man, we've been like a lot of people that might be asking us questions or watching. We've been playing fantasy football for how many fucking years at this point?
I don't even know, man. It's probably been at least 15.
I was saying
20.
15. I was saying 15 at like the cap. Like we might be 15 years into this fantasy league that you've been doing.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we did it far longer than that. But
I know. I mean, I started fantasy sports like NBA stuff. It was like what became really big back in the day for me for fantasy sports was like they would have the
salary cap game.
Yeah, the salary cap.
Yeah,
like,
I've been doing that since middle school. So
yeah, man. Like it's fantasy sports is always gonna hold a little hold something in my heart. It's just fun,
and it's broadening right now. With all the daily fantasy, with the
absolutely.
weekly shit, man, it's crazy.
I mean,
it's evolved so much.
Like DraftKings, FanDuel,
dangerous for me. So I stay away from that because I'm an instant sucker.
Yeah, well, we'll unfortunately end up getting into that as we get along because that's what a lot of people. Frankly, I into. I got into it a little bit last year. And I was winning, and it's just like it almost seems just like actual football. Like I had streaks. I would win a couple of weeks. I was like, all right. But what I found, just like in poker, I would say, I would do really well in heads up. That's when I started actually, like, I was winning decent money. And then, of course, eventually, once you start winning, you start broadening what you're betting on. And then all your money's gone. And then you gotta mortgage the house. But hey, man, we're here to talk about fantasy football. We're definitely suckers because either one of us shouldn't be talking about our fantasy team. But
most definitely not.
I mean, but for years we have I would say we have a wealth of fantasy knowledge. There's a couple of players that, like what I would like to go over is basically who's been underperforming, like who hasn't really played up to the potential, like say like a Russell Wilson, somebody that you probably.
He is definitely underperforming, man. Like when he signed that big contract with Denver, I thought that it would go lights out for him because he has a good running back core, great receivers, and a decent defense. So I thought, but the one thing that I did think about that move was he was moving to probably one of the strongest conferences, the strongest divisions in the AFC, and that his team would probably still end up third or fourth. But I didn't imagine that he would struggle this much. But definitely, he has been underperforming.
I mean, maybe Pete Carroll knew something that we didn't know. Maybe all the juice is gone out of him. I would hate to see that because if you're a fantasy owner, you probably picked up Jerry Jeudy and thinking he would have a good year, or maybe Cortland's Sutton thinking he would do something, and Denver just as a total is just been a complete letdown, and
yet they have another I don't know what's it called, primetime game this Monday. What is that, like 4 out of 6 weeks this to start this season? So it looks like the NFL, really, really, really thought that they were going to be something this year. But.
Yeah, but yeah, but just little things like that. But before we get into that, I'll be remiss if I didn't say, if anybody's watching, rate, review, subscribe, let us know. If there's anybody that gets in the chat, we will take your questions. I had a lot of trade questions a few weeks ago, so that's interesting, dealing with people live and direct. But for now, let's just focus on, what do you like? Who do you think this has really popped out to you so far? We're already 6 weeks into this. Who did you think that maybe a waiver wire pickup, or somebody that you drafted that's probably going to be in that you drafted late, that's probably going to be your starting lineup for the rest of the year? Do you have anybody like?
So I do have one guy, and I have been singing his praise. Like I when I picked him up in the draft, I thought that I wouldn't be starting him this early, but over the last couple of weeks, he's really shown his potential, and it's a rookie, the Houston rookie running back, Dameon Pierce.
Dameon Pierce.
That dude, man, has been. So after, I think, week 3 or week 2, Lovie Smith came out and said they need to run the ball more, and they need to give the rookie the ball, and that's precisely what they've done since then. He's gotten 20 carries, 14 carries, 26 carries over the last 3 weeks, and he's basically averaging 21 points per game in fantasy in PPR leagues.
Wow.
So he's outperforming Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette, who I also have on my current fantasy team. And that kind of makes me sad, because
yeah,
those are 2 good running backs that I have ahead of him, but I'm starting him pretty much every week from now on.
Yeah, I mean, he's given good old Arian Foster vibes, like coming out of nowhere, and playing well at running back for the Texans. I mean, he has to be the only bright spot on the Houston Texans roster.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, there's nothing else to look forward to. Like, Davis Mills is bad. Brandon Cooks can't catch COVID. And I can't name the other people in the skill positions. Do you know who their tight end is? Like, you have a gun in my head. I don't know the tight end.
I have no clue who their tight end is. I'm not even going to look it up, because it's probably not even worth it.
It's not worth it. So if there's any saving grace from that, from a fantasy standpoint, Dameon Pierce is really the only person you can trust and actually start, or at least put in your flex for the rest of the year. So that's a big pickup. I mean, I think it still remains to be seen. A certain people always come up in fantasy, like mid-season, like there's always like that hero.
Yeah, depending on roster injuries and whatnot.
Yeah, roster injuries. Like for me, a person I look to, who's, you always look for those rookies, I guess, or whatever. But I mean, quarterback to me is a streaming position, so I don't put too much stock into it. I like to keep a good amount of quarterbacks, mainly because it screws the rest of the league in bye weeks. It was like, why does he have 3 and 4 quarterbacks? It was like, well, I want variety for my bye weeks. But Kenny Pickett came in recently, and he hasn't been doing so much, hasn't been playing so much.
He's only had 1 week, but he threw the ball like 50 times last week.
I don't say not playing so much, but he hasn't been playing very well. And I mean, that's also about the team around him. But that makes me think, like, oh, okay, when can people finally pull the trigger and put in a new, that new quarterback? Like, there's one player that I've been watching since college, since the draft, for the Falcons, Desmond Ridder. Like, I'm waiting for him to finally get into the game. Like, no disrespect to Marcus Mariota, but
I'm surprised they're 2-2.
Yeah, I'm surprised they could be 3-3. 2-3. They could be.
They could be 3-2.
Yes, exactly.
After that BS call on Grady Jarrett for throwing Tom Brady into the turf and instantly getting a flag, you know.
Much, divisional game, Tom Brady. I kind of felt like, this shit's going on, but yeah, Tom Brady's always going to be that. It's funny that like for 20 years he's been getting phantom calls. So, eventually he'll be gone. Eventually. Like, much to Giselle Bundchen's dismay, she's just not left playing football and ruin his marriage over it. So I hope he should win a Super Bowl because of all the stakes. This is the highest. He lost his marriage over football.
He ain't winning no Super Bowl this year. Not with that offensive line.
Yeah, no. But to say this, like Marcus Mariota isn't so much the reason the Falcons are 2-3 or could win. No, so I think Desmond Ridder. I really like Drake London. Kyle Pitts is injured now, so like that sets them down.
He might be back this week. He practiced today on that hammy, but I'm hoping he's back. He's on my fantasy team, although he has done jack crap for me all season. But
yeah, but I think that's like he's being brought down. He's being held by Mariota. He can only do so much. Like I
see where you're getting at.
I have like on my fantasy team, I have the Deontay Johnson. Say if you have Deontay Johnson or Claypool or Pickens, like you basically can't play anybody from the Steelers, and you wouldn't have with Mitch Trubisky. But I see as the season progresses, Kenny Pickett is going to sling some passes at some point. Like he's going to take more chances just because he's a rookie, and maybe be actually given that leeway. And so I think like those numbers for those players like Freiermuth and other players will go up with Kenny Pickett as opposed to Mr. Trubisky.
I think Claypool's numbers are definitely going to go up. I think they already have a pretty good rapport together.
Okay. So so we have our first question here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so hey, I'm 0-5 with Herbie, Cook, Aaron Jones, Amon-Ra, Jamar, Andrews, and recently traded for Waddle for flex. Who should I trade and for who? I also have Kenneth Walker, Josh Jacobs, I'm assuming, and TJ Hawkinson on the bench. Ooh.
That's a lot. Like Kenneth Walker. Yeah, how are you 0-5?
Yeah, that sounds like a good team, man.
I couldn't.
Are you in a PPR league?
It must be PPR. But I mean, Dalvin Cook, I get it. He's up and down. He had 2 good weeks.
So has Aaron Jones. He's been up and down too.
I mean, I guess he's kind of weak at the wide receivers. I mean, Amon-Ra and
if it's PPR, Amon-Ra is solid, but he's been out the last 2 weeks. Jamar, I think Jamar has come back down to earth over the last couple of weeks as well. So
I figured it was amen because that's a lot of firepower if it was a 10-man league.
Yeah, man.
Waddle. I mean, also you're falling down on Waddle because
Tua's gone.
Yeah, man.
Teddy Bridgewater got a concussion the very first play he was in. Feel bad for that man. Now they have a rookie.
I don't know who you could trade for outside of like you're going for like I don't know, Cooper Kupp or like whoever you would be trading for.
No one's trading Kupp away.
Exactly. Like whoever you would trade those players for, like you're not going to get one of those top 5 quality people. I think maybe if you can try to figure out some type of mid-tier.
How many weeks is your season before the playoffs? Is it 12 or 13 weeks?
So like I don't know, buying low on certain people is good. Like a person I would say like buying low on if you're thinking about you're gonna make it to the playoffs. Like you got a long way to go to try to make it to the playoffs. But if you have a strong team, you're going ahead. I would tell people to go for Amari Cooper because I feel like the second that Deshaun Watson comes back, Amari Cooper is going to get a lot more work.
And Brissett's actually been throwing to him a lot more too, so that's a good solid choice right there.
I would say trying to trade for somebody like a Chris Godwin, or maybe because Chris, like he's just coming back from injury, so he's going to, I assume, go up and up like as Tom Brady goes up. He can't keep throwing to Mike Evans every single fucking play. And maybe if you could snag a DeAndre Hopkins from somebody who's been sitting on him, because when Hopkins comes back, he's gonna go right back to being a top 5 wide receiver. Because
I would also say if you can somehow snag one of the Seattle wide receivers, either Lockett or
you say Godwin or Pittman. Okay. I'm sorry, the Seattle wide receivers.
Yeah, one of them. Because what's it called? Gino. I know Gino has been
he's
Gino,
a top,
but he's been
a top 10
right now.
Not just, he's like top 8 in fantasy right now, but he's top 10 statistically in the NFL right now as a quarterback, and that's crazy. Just 6 weeks, that's still an accomplishment to me for Geno Smith.
It is.
Geno Smith, he does have DK Metcalf, and he does have Lockett, but maybe that shows what Russell Wilson was missing. I don't know. Like it's crazy that Geno Smith is outplaying Russell Wilson. Like isn't that?
Mm-hmm.
This is ridiculous to say, and there's no way you can dispute that. If you look at the numbers, you look at the play.
And honestly, Surya, I wouldn't take my bets on Pittman. I don't trust anybody that Matt Ryan throws to. He's more often on his butt than or he's throwing the ball to the other team. I know that Pittman is literally pretty much their only receiver at this moment, but
but it's just like
other teams knowing that they're gonna focus on him, and other teammates are gonna rise up, but they're also shutting down Jonathan Taylor right now as well. So
having a number one in an offense that is bad and stagnant doesn't help, because all right, you look at Pittman, he's their number one, obviously, right? He should get the lion's share, but quarterback bad. You look at the Houston Texans, Brandon Cooks, number one, not getting it done. You look at the Commanders, you got Carson Wentz, you got Terry McLaurin, he's really not getting it done on the fantasies, but we all know they're the best receivers. But if you have an inept offense, it doesn't matter if you're about your number one,
honestly,
Pittman is definitely Pittman's definitely a no-go for sure.
It's tough to say what you should upgrade on your team, because you have a solid team. It's just they're injured, or like Dalvin Cook is he's injury prone. Amon-Ra has been out for the last 2 games. Waddle is being affected by Tua and Teddy not being there. I do like that you do have Kenneth Walker and Josh Jacobs. Those are good running backs.
I was going to say running backs are fine. Wide receiver is what you would want to upgrade. I would say you might, if you're running in a 2 running back league, I would probably just stick with Cook and Aaron Jones, because they're just easy to stick up. But if you also have Josh Jacobs, you should probably trade one of those for a better wide receiver. Like, choose whichever one you like best. I think they're all 1As. Like, I would probably tend to probably go with Aaron Jones, maybe, because I don't know. I trust the Packers' overall offense a little bit better than I do Derek Carr. But Josh Jacobs I think it might be a better running back than Aaron Jones. But so that's on you. You definitely keep Dalvin Cook. Honestly, maybe not keep Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is very injury prone. He's dealing with his shoulder. He kind of gets hurt every year. I would honestly say Aaron Jones and Jacobs and put out that carrot of Dalvin Cook. And I would say try to get Dalvin Cook for somebody a wide receiver that you would say is top 10 that you like, and put that trade out there, because right at this point, Dalvin Cook had a good game. He had 2 touchdowns, I think. And almost 100 yards. So like, yeah, if Surrey, you said Debo, I would try for Godwin and maybe somebody, maybe another good flex. Shit, man, it's hard to get Debo away from people. Like,
no,
Debo,
that's definitely hard.
Debo is one of those top 5 wide receivers where you're just going to, start him regardless, and he's probably going to perform for you. So, yeah. So we can't help you maybe if you come back week to week, bye weeks, we have different people, show up and listen week to week. Just a couple of fine fellows like yourself, sorry, but 8:30s Wednesdays. Tell your friends if you want to, and if you want some advice from the fantasy suckers. Yeah, as we do this, Fantasy Suckers, sponsored by Michelob Ultra.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to trade for Debo away, but that one there you have above where you said asking about trading Jamar for Dameon Pierce and someone else. I don't know if you can get somebody else like good enough to replace Jamar, but Dameon Pierce, the only thing about him is he doesn't really catch the ball out of the backfield, so he won't be helping you in the passing game.
In the PPR,
you'll be handcuffing yourself there. So I would say, your running backs are good. I would trade one of them away, and I would agree with Johnny here, and trade Dalvin Cook and see what you can get for him.
Because he's not much better.
You probably won't get a top tier wide receiver out of it, but you can at least get like a second level, maybe like a let's say.
I would even say Mike Evans. Like, if you were looking for that, like if you were going to go Godwin, I think somebody would trade straight up.
Godwin's a good choice.
Definitely, you would get Godwin. No, that's a no-brainer. But I think you can get more with the Dalvin Cook because he's constantly he's RB1, obviously, as long as he's healthy. He's RB1.
You might be able to get away with getting AJ Brown from the.
Yes,
you might be able to get away with that.
I would say, yeah, maybe AJ Brown. It depends on the people that you're trading with. Like, I would say, like, I don't know if he's on the level of, say, a DK Metcalf or whatever. Geno Smith's doing this thing, but maybe you can get away from that because people don't trust Geno or whatever. But these people are putting up numbers. It's funny that I did win that debate with PJ. PJ, he said he would take DK Metcalf, and I said I'll take AJ Brown. I still think, it remains to be seen.
It still remains to be seen.
But I'm fine with that. I feel like it was the same type of vibes I was at with the Russell Westbrook, there's James Harden. Like, during those years, it was close. Yeah, I get why you would take one or the other, but it's clearly James Harden. Like, that's just kind of how I feel about this. Like, it's clearly AJ Brown. He's a better route runner, and he's a smarter player. DK Metcalf is literally just a physical freak. Like, it's just hard to stop that. But those things come advantage and has an advantage. So man, I was trying to bring up some of the key games. The biggest game I know that's coming up this week. A lot of the games are pretty boring. There's a few bye week. I think there's 3 teams on a bye or 2 teams.
I think there might be 4 teams on a bye.
4 teams? 4 teams on a bye? Jeez. I think you might be right. Because the buys start on now.
Detroit, Tennessee, Vegas, and Houston are on buys.
Yeah. So there's a lot of buys. So, and then there's a lot of bad games. The biggest game that we definitely need to talk about is the Chiefs Bills.
There's 2 other games that
are interesting.
Good. Are interesting.
Yeah,
And that would be
Cowboys, Eagles, and then
Cowboys, Eagles is the second one. And then surprise, I would say Baltimore and New York would be probably a good one too.
yeah. All right, who do you think are going to be the key standouts? And I guess in the Baltimore or the Giants, like is anybody you see as a sleeper? Do you think this is the week for J.K. Dobbins or some shit?
New York's defense has been pretty good. The weakest spot on that team is their defensive backs, and we all know
yeah,
Lamar he's been playing pretty good ball at the quarterback position this year. Give him that.
Kind of shaky the last 2 weeks.
Lamar. Yes, kind of shaky the last 2 weeks, but he has been. He's also been out without his number one wide receiver, even but not his number one tight end, but his number one receiver, Rashad Bateman. But I honestly, this game is probably gonna be a really close one. I veer towards the key in this game for New York is Saquon. Saquon, if he could continue being the cowbell for that team, a lot of the offense runs through him. Daniel Jones is basically running back, stepping back, looking at his first read. If he's not there, Saquon's getting the ball.
Yeah.
Another thing
that might be Brian Daboll's coaching. He's get this.
Yeah, Daboll's coaching has been on point because we all thought that Daniel Jones was done for, and he's like I told you, I texted you earlier in the week that I was quite impressed with the way that Daniel Jones has been playing, even though it's not lights out, but he's been managing the game and they've been winning the games. He's not making any stupid mistakes. He's getting pressure. He's getting pressure in the pocket, and he's able to run like up the middle for like 10 yards, 11 yards and sliding and not getting hurt. So, it's just the key is going to be Daniel Jones and Saquon and Baltimore's pressure on him. If Baltimore can get to him and force him into some errant throws, then Baltimore's got it. But fantasy wise, the only Baltimore players worth starting are, of course, Lamar and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, maybe in a slight flex, I would start Duvernay. Duvernay has been able to put up some decent points, but no running backs.
He's that good slot receiver.
Yeah, but definitely no running backs. So yeah, Andrews is his go-to. And
Andrews is a must start every week. So
yeah, Andrews and Lamar pretty much must starts. And that's it. Duvernay is, like I said, possibly a flex. On the Giants, it's just what
Saquon would be the only person I would ever start on that squad.
That's crazy because somebody's gonna have a sneaky good game and
Daniel Jones he spreads the ball around too, so he doesn't I don't think any receiver ever gets more than 3 or 4 receptions. And considering a lot of their top tier wide receivers are hurt or not playing, there's not much to go around. So all the balls go to Saquon.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what do they have? Kadarius Tony,
and I thought he was going to have a big season, but he's been
Sterling Shepard.
Sterling Shepard is out for the season.
Right, that's right. Kenny Galladay is
never getting on the field.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Yeah, his best days were in Detroit.
Yeah, man. That
not many escaped Detroit with a career. So
I'm just saying, not many had their best days in Detroit.
That's true too.
That's I mean, geez. Maybe.
But speaking of Detroit, they have been so much fun to watch this year. They have fantasy players all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. They've definitely been good. Like a fantasy perspective, obviously, but not Swift's been good. St. Brown was good before he got injured.
Jamal Williams just picked it up for Swift while he was gone.
Yeah, Swift. Yeah, Jamal Williams brought it up for Swift, and then Josh Reynolds and
Yep. TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, man. Yeah.
They got a solid little squad over there, offensively at least.
Yeah. Damn, man. I was thinking about some player and it just escaped from me. But well, let's go to I mean, there's only the 3 from there, but let's go to Dallas and Philadelphia. I mean, who the key starts there? There might be a like you would normally say these would be people for the stardom sit 'em, right? Like you'd have to choose like a all
right. So
do you who on the Eagles? Like normally on the Eagles, I'm starting Jalen Hurts. I'm starting I'm sorry, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, Miles Sanders, right?
Miles Sanders is, I wouldn't start him.
Definitely a flex.
Like I wouldn't start him this week.
Flex, that's what I'm saying. Now, do you not even start Devontae Smith, or do you because I feel like
Devontae Smith, I feel has been, I think he's been at least over the last 3 weeks, he's been more consistent than AJ Brown.
Okay.
He's been getting double-digit targets almost every week for the last.
I mean, and I think that. Do you think this just because AJ Brown's getting doubled?
Yeah, that could be it too. They have quite the offense, and everybody is eating.
Yeah.
In Philly.
Yeah. So
she sticks around.
She sticks around. Like I would have won if I started Dallas Goedert last week over Higbee. I would have won. So Goddard does his thing too. So
yeah, the stardoms from Philly obviously are, like what you said, Jalen, Goddard, Devontae, and AJ for me. On Dallas, I don't know. Philly's defense is really good. The defensive back room is really good with Slay, Bradbury.
I think Dallas fans have been on this boat that I'm about to talk about for a while. But do you think it's time, at least in fantasy, if they're both on the waiver wire, who you picking up first, Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott?
If they're both on the waiver wire, I'm picking up Pollard.
All right. Good, because some people will pick him up, Zeke up, and be like, well, Zeke might get more touchdown. I'm like, well, you're picking him up to be a goal line.
Zeke gets more carries, but his carries it's basically 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 10 yards, 2 yards, 1 yard.
So he's in the backfield. So he's a safer flex. He's a safe 10 points. But if you want big points, it's Tony Pollard.
Because he's the home run hitter.
Yeah, and if you're Dallas, why are you even fiddling around? Tony Pollard should just be your. I know why he's not your top running back. Because he's a shitty blocker. He can't block. But this has really, you don't really pay attention to this in fantasy sports or whatever. But the real reason that Zeke Elliott splits time with him is because Tony Pollard cannot block linebackers for shit, and Zeke can. Mm-hmm. So when he's in there, Pollard, they know he's running, because if they're not, then the linebacker is going to push him over into Cooper Rush. So I've watched it plenty of times. I watched that's why Pollard's not in there. That's why Pollard's not a number one running back, because he has no idea how to identify the blitz and who to block. So yeah, that's why Zeke. That's why they're holding on. Other than the fact that they paid him an $80 million salary, like dummies. But you see, it's all working out for the fucking Cowboys. I think I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they won at this point. Fucking parody, but
I think this is where Cooper Rush's fairy tale ends. All right,
maybe I would. I would love nothing more than Cooper Rush to throw for 400 yards and win. Because then it just is I would just call him Dead Money Dak. It would just start Cooper Rush immediately. Sorry, Dak. So
Here's
we
some
didn't want to pay.
pom-poms.
Yeah, they paid him a lot of his money already last year. So like they would just all right, sit back there and lift. It's like, oh no, Dak re-injured his thumb somehow. So yeah, I definitely think that's what they
Yeah,
would
so stardom from Dallas.
just those two? Wow, just one?
Who did we say? Did we say Zeke or Pollard?
No,
I would say
I actually had a question. I would say CeeDee Lamb.
I would say CeeDee Lamb is, but like, it's only if you like don't have any other choice, really.
Yeah, and I hate to say like it's kind of like you ride him and start him the whole time. Like, do you start the Dallas defense? Like,
I don't know.
Like, because I feel
Dallas
like
defense has been on. They have been really good this year, so this is going to be a really big test for them. I think this is going to be a fairly close game, pretty low scoring.
If Jalen has turnovers, I could see those turnovers coming in this game. So he hasn't turned the ball over very, very much. I think he has like 2 interceptions or something like that, Jalen. But yeah, this is gonna be his biggest test. As much as I hate to say it.
He has 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions passing, and I think he has I don't know how many rushing touchdowns he has.
Like probably 4. So probably 4 is throwing touchdowns is a low amount. I thought he had more than that. He has so really I can say that coming into this game, Jalen Hurts has as much passing touchdowns.
Well, he has 6 touchdowns rushing.
Okay. All right. So Jalen Hurts still though, like if somebody's just writing an article or like narrative, Jalen Hurts has the same amount of passing touchdowns as Cooper Rush.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But no interceptions. Cooper Rush has 0 interceptions.
That is impressive. Jalen Hurts is 7th in the league in passing yardage, but only has 4 touchdowns to show for it. Or 4 passing touchdowns to show for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but he hogs the ball. I'm pretty sure, like, once they get inside the goal line, a lot of the option calls are for him. That's why he's a definite start every week, because of his goal line presence.
Yeah, it's the same as Lamar Jackson. Like, you got to start him. Like, it's because it's the dual threat quarterback. Jalen Hurts, I think, is obviously a better passer. Obviously, but Lamar Jackson is a better runner. So, they're both good. I mean, I'm not going to say Jalen Hurts is better until he wins the MVP.
Why didn't we draft Jalen Hurts?
I don't know. Everybody had the chance.
Everybody had the chance.
Everybody had the chance. I was just talking about that earlier to somebody. This third time I brought up DK Metcalf and AJ Brown. I'm sitting there watching the draft, and I'm like, why is it the second round and neither one of these guys have been drafted? Like, you just sit there, you wonder. And like, same thing with the Ravens. They're at 28 and they're like, why has nobody drafted Lamar Jackson? Like, why? Yeah, why did Jalen Hurts fall all the way down there? Because it's a bunch of cranky old people that don't want to really change what's been normal. But last game, man, and I think we'll wrap it up from here. Bills Chiefs, man, the game of the week.
That is going to be a fun game. If it's any, I'm sure you remember the playoff game. And
yeah.
And honestly, I think that last year's playoff, that day was probably the best. That weekend, I think that was also the same weekend as the Rams and Bucks one. That one was back and forth too. So, man,
that was a good week of football. Yeah, for sure.
Buffalo stardoms, obviously. Josh Allen. Every single week, he's a must start. Stephon Diggs,
must start. Now we're getting to the bigger ones. Do we start?
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis is he a must start?
I would start him as well.
Okay. Devin Singletary.
No. Okay. So he doesn't do enough in that offense. Because Josh Allen takes a lot of the carries as well.
Now, just random speculation since you're on the line here. Do you fake CMC?
CMC? No, he is not. We have denied that. All right.
Okay.
So I will find the video and I will show you something. It's pretty hilarious. So there's been a lot of rumors about CMC and DJ getting shipped out. CMC getting shipped to Buffalo, DJ getting shipped to Kansas City, Green Bay, or somewhere, that needs a wide receiver. So they're in the car, they're driving together, and they're playing a hip hop song. It's like, and then the chorus comes out, "We ain't going nowhere." So they're like sitting there like in an Instagram video, basically playing this in the background. They're both in the car together and they're both jamming out. And they're both singing the chorus. It's quite hilarious. So they're not going nowhere. And the rumors of that trade has been dispelled by the beat reporters in Charlotte. So no, as much
Steve
as I think that we should. I don't think, because Carolina, they do want a first round draft pick and they're not going to get it from anybody. Let's just put it at that. I know that they want a first rounder or an early second rounder, and they're not going to get it.
I mean, the only people that would have done it would be like some team like the Bills or somebody who is right there. Like
the Bills make the most sense because
what makes the most sense to me, and maybe I'm crazy, or maybe it's just
you're gonna say Denver.
No,
because that's where his dad played.
No, that wasn't even. No, I don't even think about that. I'm like, what would Russell Wilson do with them? Russell Wilson's not making anything happen. I was like, I want to make a better player, more dynamic. I was like, to be the smart, like if this is my Madden brain and like concoction, mad scientist, I want CMC and handoff options with Lamar Jackson. I want the fucking Ravens to be like,
actually would be dangerous. That would be very dangerous.
Don't you think that would be like crazily like dangerous? Is like fucking. It's like choosing poison.
Who needs a wide receiver when you have Mark Andrews and CMC?
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not gonna throw to wide receivers, but if he just had the RPO option with McCaffrey, like I mean, who are you? Are you happy that Lamar keeps the ball? Because you're happy if Lamar has the ball off now, but like it's just as deadly to give the ball to fucking Christian McCaffrey. He might run the other way. Like if you had to choose between going this way,
you just put something in my head just now too. So just imagine if Lamar did get, if the Baltimore did trade for CMC. Just imagine they could do this. They could have CMC line up. They could do a double set in the back.
Yeah.
CMC to Lamar's left, Duvernay to Lamar's right. All right. They can RPO to either one of them, and one of them, the other one that doesn't get RPO'd out, goes out for a screen, and then
it's just
Mark Andrews is just run down the field. So you're like, pick your poison, basically.
You really can't. It would be hard to have two players that like you have the quarterback, but like if Lamar Jackson had like Tyreek Hill, he'd be like, this is unfair. Like this is unlike you have like another nuclear weapon, which CMC can be for a good team. Like a team I thought that was also good that I saw on the list was the Rams. Like the Rams would be a great team for him to be like, because I feel like McVay would use him correctly. And they would go back to, but you still got to worry about Stafford. But like to me, when I think about wildest dreams, it was like if you had like fucking like Lamar Jackson had Nick Chubb, and it'd be like, no, please, I don't know who I want to have. Like it would be like devastating. Like,
all right, so we got a question from Gabriel. Should I trade Curtis Samuel for T. Higgins?
Absolutely.
I would say absolutely as well.
I have Curtis Samuel. I love Curtis Samuel, but I love Carson Wentz.
I love Curtis Samuel too, and I wish we didn't let him go. But he's doing after week one for the Commanders, he's done very little to nothing. And he gets involved like early in the game, and then he just disappears. because Carson Wentz disappears.
And it's partly Carson Wentz, but it's, as we know, like we were talking about earlier, we were talking about Brian Daboll, and we could talk about the coach down in Miami. Coaching definitely matters, and Scott Turner and Ron Rivera's coaching has not been up to snuff. Week 1, when they won, what I watched was a lot of Curtis Samuel getting the ball rushing. They were handing him the ball. They were getting him in screens. Since week 1, they haven't done that. Curtis Samuel.
That's where he's best.
That's where he's best, and that's how they should be using him. And he's not Deebo Samuel, but they should be trying to use him as if he is him. They should be giving him the ball in hand and out of the backfield. They should be just throwing him bubble screens or something. But unfortunately, the Commanders are too stupid to do that. So I would just stay away from Curtis Samuel. I believe T. Higgins, who had a great Super Bowl and a great playoff run, will get back up. Like the Bengals will get better. Like Joe Burrow will play better as the year goes on. They've been not playing too well. They haven't been playing too well recently. I know Jamar Chase is there. But like Jamar Chase is going to get double teamed like he usually does. And T. Higgins he'll probably be better. Definitely better flex. Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Gabriel. We answered it pretty resounding that basically
100% yes.
100% yes.
Do it.
Don't. Here's what I would say. Well, we didn't talk about the Thursday night game. I guess we can do that real quick since we're already in there. The Thursday night game is Commanders versus Bears. There's literally nobody I would recommend that you start. Not Terry McLaurin, not Carson Wentz.
Would you start your defense?
I did.
You going to?
I did, yeah. And ours, like, I started Miami, but without Tua, without a starting quarterback, defenses have too much strain on them. And I was gonna start the Chargers. I don't know, I just don't. I like our front four. I'm gonna stop with that. I made a confession, Doug. I've had a long look into the mirror, as for 20 plus years I was a Washington Redskins fan, and then even a Washington football team fan, and I wish we were still called the Washington football team. But with these new fucking jerseys, pieces of shit jerseys, and the name's so bad. Now all I see at it is like Dan Snyder's cash cow. Like, I hate Dan Snyder. I wish all the bad things happened to him. But like he ruined the team. Like, I don't feel the same when I'm watching the Commanders now. I don't feel the same as when the teams before. Like I was debating with somebody at work about this, talking about those teams. I'm like, all right, so like, oh, you just giving up on the Commanders? And I'm like, okay, should old Cleveland Browns fans be Baltimore Ravens fans? Should old Houston Oilers fans be Tennessee Titans fans right now? Like, how far are you supposed to go with it? Are people in St. Louis still big Rams fans now that they're in Los Angeles? There's people in I feel like it's a good enough out. There's enough reasons to hate the fucking team, and I don't really care what goes on with them. I don't plan to buy any more. I'm not gonna buy another jersey. If I buy a jersey, it might be old vintage Redskins stuff, because that's what I had nostalgia to. But I came out on the podcast Monday, which I didn't realize I had to fucking put up. Fucking Alpha recorded it, and he said it was streaming live, but I don't even get it. Whatever, that's beside the point. But I came out as my true self, man. I came out of the closet, been hiding for years and years, and I was in front, loving, the Redskins for my family. But if I was true to my heart, I'm a Bills fan. And I'm going back to liking the Buffalo Bills. because it is easier for my life and it makes me less stressed.
And they have Josh Allen.
Yeah, and look, I always
which
love
what our topic was before we veered off on this tangent, but
absolutely, because we never got to the Chiefs. But that's, you know what, it was all full circle to get to there. I'm now a Bills fan again. Yeah, I think they'll win. I would start not starting Knox or anything like that, but
all right, we have a question from Quick here on thoughts on this trade he just got. PPR. Should I trade Ramondre Stevenson? I'm assuming Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, and Michael Gallup for Joe Mixon and Brandon Cooks.
No.
No.
I would say no.
Joe Mixon is literally the only thing you'll get back. Brandon Cooks has been a bum literally all season. All that offense is going through right now is Dameon Pierce, and Davis Mills has looked terrible. So I think the Texans are going to be in line for a new quarterback next season. I would say keep what you got.
I mean, the only thing I would say, I don't see the rest of the team. Like, it is a full PPR, not a half point PPR. It's full PPR. So obviously that gives a little extra things to the wide receiver. No. I was saying from the wide receiver standpoint, Cooks is pointless. If you can get, I would say, cut Cooks for a bag of chips. if you can get a 50-cent bag of Lay's for Brandon Cooks, get rid of that. Make that trade. But Gallup, he has upside.
He's just coming off that ACL, so he's not like fully, back into football shape yet. He's only had 2 games under him so far.
No, so like you said, if you're 5-0, right, you have a sufficient lead. You could take chances on people taking longer to flourish, I guess. So Stevenson is like a right now type of guy, because Damian Harris is not going to be out the entire season. So like the next couple of weeks, like if you're in the daily fantasy league or whatever, Stevenson is going to probably put up 100 something yards, and he's going to do good over the next few weeks just because of injury. Gallup is possibly going to get better because still we only saw one game and we don't know. This is the thing about the Cowboys. We don't know if Dak is going to come back, if Dak is going to play better, or if they're going to be smart and not, throw the ball a lot with Dak once he actually gets back. And CeeDee Lamb is going to get double teamed. So I don't know. I like Gallup, but nah. But yeah, man. You keep Gallup. Your trade is to say Stevenson, Wilson, and Gallup for Joe Mixon and Brandon Cooks. It's so lopsided, bro. Definitely keep Gallup. Definitely keep Stevenson, Jeff Wilson, and he'll be there as the year goes on. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to throw 50 times a game. So the 49ers, if they want to win, are going to have to run. Yeah, unless you really, I wouldn't even trade Cooks for Gallup straight up. I would keep Gallup over Brandon Cooks. So, yeah. So yeah, we were about to get to the Thursday game. I was going to say that since we were just talking about Curtis Samuel and all the other stuff. Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders, man.
What a Thursday night game.
It's basically like somebody took a shit in my mouth. My uncle used to say it's like he used to say when he goes to the bathroom to take a number 2, he say I'm taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. And that's what it feels like.
That's a good one.
This game is being played there in Brown Stadium in my bathroom. So I assume a lot of diarrhea, not enough fiber. But it's gonna be boring. It might be a good game because it's two bad teams. Sometimes when there's two bad teams, it ends up being a good. All right, like the Seahawks Lions game 2 weeks ago was amazing.
Yeah, that was great.
It was like 45-48, I think.
It felt like an arena football league game.
it was crazy. They were like, both teams left their defenses at home. And they were like, let's just run out routes. Like, let's just run this fucking baby up. And it was a fun game to watch. I don't know if the Bears defense is so bad that Carson Wentz is going to throw for 400 yards. But I know that the Commanders secondary is so bad that Justin Fields might throw for 300 yards. And if Justin Fields throws for 300 yards, it's a problem. And the running backs, they have Khalil Herbert and
David Montgomery.
David Montgomery. I was like, yeah, I mean, who is that all you start? Like, I don't know. I might start Justin Fields against like
no. I wouldn't start Fields, period.
I mean, depends on. I mean,
they don't even let him throw the ball, to be honest. And when he does, he looks terrible doing it. So I see why. He has no wide receivers to throw to. Mooney has been a bust. I cut his ass like after week 2 because he had like -3 points. Yeah. But like literally, like if you look at Justin Fields' box scores, he will only throw the ball like 15 times a game, if that. And it's just mind-boggling. But like it's also, I don't blame the team for doing that because they don't have the weapons to allow him to be successful. So that's why they run the RPOs, or they run Herbert and Montgomery, and then Montgomery gets hurt. They run Herbert and they run Fields and they run whoever they can, or just throw the tight ends. But
yep, their entire game is running, and they have not a great defense. So, I mean, the Commanders have no run game pretty much, and an inept quarterback. Would you start Carson Wentz? Like, who do you start over? Like, who do you think would have more points? Is Carson Wentz or Justin Fields?
Carson Wentz.
Okay, so Carson Wentz. So then, who do you? I mean, is Terry McLaurin or Curtis Samuel? Because Jahan Dotson's out. So
I think I don't know.
I think they both get nerfed because Dotson's out. Because I mean, I don't think Curtis Samuel gets better because there's a better quarterback on him. He's good at this in the slot.
In the slot, in the backfield.
In the backfield. That's what he should be doing.
Needs space.
So I'm like, you see Curtis Samuel, like they projected him to be higher because Johnson's out there. Like, oh, he should get more, targets, but it makes it harder to get him the ball.
I would say the only person I would consider starting is McLaurin. Although I kind of have this itch in my mind here that Carson Wentz is going to go freaking Gohan on the Bears after Ron Rivera said quarterback.
Yeah, I know, but I would have expected him to go Gohan on the. I was expecting him to go like that on the fucking Eagles. Here update. Like on the Eagles that traded him away. He just didn't come to show like to play. He showed every reason why the Eagles got rid of him in that game. Update for injuries for the Commanders. So it says Logan Thomas is also going to be out.
Oh,
yeah. No, that just came.
So maybe don't start Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, man. It's
everybody's just gonna key in on that because
it's
the only weapon they got at the moment.
I was gonna ask that. I was like, you trust Terry? Like Terry, he might get like 3 catches for like 40 yards because they forced it to him 8 times. But like,
so my question is, why can you guys not run the ball?
I mean, we have probably the worst offensive line. Like, this is how bad our offensive line. Like, I remember
Like, who's your left tackle?
I don't know.
Cosme's your right?
Yes, Cosme is our right tackle. Our left tackle is like used to be a guard or so. I don't know who our left
Oh,
tackle. It's
Ron,
like
that sounds like such a Ron thing to do.
like it's such a makeshift. Like it's a terrible line. This is how bad. This is how I knew our line was bad because in week 2, I heard an announcer say Chase Roulier is out for like 4 to 5 weeks, and he's their by far their best lineman. He anchors that whole. I was like, Chase Roulier is now the anchor of our line.
Charles Leno Jr. That's your left tackle.
There you go. Yep.
And it looks like Cosme's going to be out tomorrow.
Oh, great.
So you have no right tackle.
And so I feel for Carson Wentz and that he has no like.
Okay, I do see it now. Just so your best lineman is Andrew Norwell, and he's a run blocker.
Yeah. It's a horrible. We have one of the worst lines. Our line is way worse than our line is just as bad as like the Rams line is right now. You know, like the Rams have like like this is like no lineman. So Matthew Stafford goes from being a Super Bowl winning quarterback to looking like absolute garbage. Like so
with a bad elbow.
Yeah. But he was kind of injured last year too, wasn't he?
Yeah. He had even in the offseason, he had elbow issues and he didn't have surgery. So it's still probably lingering, but it's not helping that he has no time. Absolutely. And only Cooper Kupp to throw to. So
and look, look what happened with Joe Burrow with no time. You know what happened to Pat Mahomes? Like it's fucked up to bring Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and then try to say for Carson Wentz like some type of saving grace. But you see what happens when your line gets bad and you don't have any fucking time. So, but here's what I say: I don't feel for Carson Wentz. He should be put on the bench, and we shouldn't have to talk about him anymore because he has a bad line this year. But the Indianapolis Colts had the number 1 offensive line. So when he was with the Colts, what was your excuse with the top running back in all of football and the number 1 offensive line just sucking balls? Like, do you need everything? He was like, well, my receivers were good enough. Like, you need everything to succeed. You got to have the best line, best running back, and then all of the fucking wide receivers. You need a Pro Bowl team. I'm like, if you need a Pro Bowl team, then you really aren't needed.
No, exactly.
We just have a Pro Bowl team, and we'll put anybody in quarterback. So, like, yeah.
Cam Newton would like to talk to you, Carson Wentz.
Absolutely.
Because in 2015, we only had Devin Funchess and Ted Ginn as our wide receivers. All right. We did have Greg Olsen, but that was literally it.
And when he won MVP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Ted Ginn and Devin Funchess. Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, kiss my ass, Carson. I'm all for Sam Howell. We already saw Taylor Heinicke, what he could do. He's a great backup. He's good for like 2-3 weeks.
He's good to fill in. Yes.
He's good to fill in. So I would like Carson Wentz to break his leg and for Sam Howell to come in and play the rest of the season. But
we know Ron is going to put in Heinicke.
I don't know. I don't know if he will, but I don't know, man. Yeah. I think we're good.
We have to still talk about the Bills Chiefs. Gotta go back to the Chiefs because we haven't.
Oh fuck, my bad, bro. No, well, we did. All right, we did finish. We started with the Bills. We already did the Bills.
Yeah, we did the Bills.
Patrick Mahomes, automatic start. Travis Kelce,
automatic start.
Don't he's your team.
Bills secondary is hurt, so if there is a wide receiver to start on the Chiefs, it would be Juju, but
yeah,
it's hard because they have Mahomes does spread the ball around.
Yeah, it's just like if you start Juju, I wouldn't say it'd be crazy to start Valdez-Scantling or something. Or I know it's a little early.
Mahomes and Kelce.
This will start I think eventually Sky Moore will probably get a little more run, but Like Edwards-Helaire, I mean,
oh yeah, him.
Is he a fringe? Is he RB2? He's RB2, I assume. Like that's been the thing with the Chiefs. Like if their running game you know is good, like they're unstoppable.
Or
But
if he
like
gets involved in the passing game at all.
that's
But
true. So like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of like a X factor. He could always have a great game. So I don't know. I would start if I have him. I would definitely start him in the flex. Maybe if RB2 or whatever. And he's definitely not. RB1 is top 12, so he's definitely not that.
yeah, he's definitely in the RB2.
Yeah, definitely RB2. But yeah, no other wide receivers for Mahomes. Like it is actually he's a must start. He's definitely a must start Mahomes. But like I'm not happy about starting him against the Bills. Definitely. I'm not ecstatic. I'm like thinking he's gonna, put up 30 plus points or whatever. And when you have a Mahomes, you have a Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, things like that, you think every week is possible and they can put up like 25 plus. Like any week it might happen. Josh Allen, like he's gonna put up 30 points. But he might put up 30 points. I think do you think, Josh Allen would probably have a better game than Patrick Mahomes? And that's crazy to you.
I think Josh Allen will have a better game than Patrick Mahomes.
I know that's crazy.
I think the only two quarterbacks that or maybe three quarterbacks that can consistently get over 25 points a game, the ones that get into the end zone with their feet, their legs. So that would be, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. Those are the three that I think can consistently. I mean, Jalen Hurts is fringe. But
yeah, it's gonna consistently get those numbers, get it with their feet. Yeah, I give you that. That and the world beater, Geno Smith. Can't stop him. Yeah, man. So we definitely have some star sits as we go. I'm just saying to you directly, since there's nobody else in the chat now. I mean, sometimes I'll go through, like, sometimes people just come in for a second, whatever. We'll see how many views we have later. But maybe we'll have to, figure out time, we'll figure out all that other stuff. But visual aids, as far as putting up, starting sits for like,
yeah.
If you like text me, we text me before, and in the future, I can type it up and then screen share. But that I'm gonna wait till I think by the end of this month I'll have a new laptop. I've been saving for this shit. This one is just
don't spend too much money on it.
No, I'm gonna spend a good amount because yeah, man, I plan to go very, very hardcore with these. I'll figure this all out. Like, I guess I'm doing the horror thing with Alpha, doing the basketball thing with PJ. I'm going to do a stand up.
Good use out of it.
I'm going to do as a girlfriend of mine that we're going to watch stand-up reaction videos. Then we're going to do reaction videos for new hip-hop and other stuff with another friend of mine. I'm going to be literally with you, sir. I'm going to be doing a video I have a schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Is going to be me doing a live YouTube streaming thing like this. That's my plan.
All right.
And if I have to struggle so much with like the computer that shuts off, like we should have started this at 8:30 and we would have been done. And if we can start at 8 earlier, you probably get more interaction.
That's true.
But yeah, because it's late here on the East Coast, like maybe people on the West Coast are paying attention, whatever. But yeah, the editing, the putting everything live streaming, all that is is tedious with a computer that's super slow. I gotta sit here. Yeah, gotta sit here and wait an hour for a video to render. It was like meanwhile, somebody else is putting shit up in like 5 minutes. It was like I edited the whole video and I put it up. Like I'm sitting here and waiting for shit to go down to upload and all this other shit. And so, all right, man. I have fun. Have fun in a while. Hopefully we'll build a following and get some more people listening next week. It still is fun answering random ass questions. I don't know why it is. It's like I don't know who these people are at all, but they have a question about fantasy football, and I have like thoughts on it. I have thoughts. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, guys. This is episode 1 of Fantasy Suckers. I hope 100 episodes from now you'll look back and be like, God, these guys are amateurs. Can you believe what the difference of what happened? Like that's all I can say. Hope for us, and yeah, see people next week. I know also, yeah, I know people come in live or whatever, but when it is streamed live, people will still click on this and watch it for fantasy advice. So hopefully people that watch this after this live has been recorded, come join us every week, hopefully 8:30 Wednesdays and
Eastern time.
Yes, Wednesdays Eastern time. Rate, review, subscribe, talk shit about us, tell us we suck. Just subscribe and comment. And
all right, guys.
see you guys next week.